of the Akufo-Addo administration
and
the MPP government to dealing with wrongdoing. And it's not just in the case of the Akonta Mining CID report. We saw it in the case of the Australia visa scandal. There was supposed to be a CID report that was never made public. And yet the president purported to have cleared Payo Sajide without telling us who actually engaged in that visa racketeering. Because we do know for a fact that visa racketeering occurred. President Akufo was not willing to punish anybody for anything that they did under his government. So you pass an LI, abuse it, award mining leases to party cronies. They engage in illegal mining. The CID investigates. And then you come on national television and say that the person who has been fingered in that CID report is innocent and do nothing. We came into power.
The CID report that we are looking for.
Absolutely. The Attorney General has based charges.
The current Attorney General.
Absolutely.
But you said Akufo ignored the CID report. But when was it presented to him?
But why? No, the report doesn't have to be presented to the CID.
Not to the president.
It goes to the Attorney General.
But the Attorney General, Dami says he hasn't seen it.
Of course, but he would deny it, wouldn't he?
Oh, so you think he's denying it?
But why? Why would he deny it? Otherwise, what other explanation exists?
So you are sure that Dami received the CID report?
I'm saying that what other... First of all, when the government of the day commissioned investigations into... Did Akufo-Addo not tell us that matter was being investigated? He told us. And then he came back to say that the investigations have found that he did nothing wrong. Is that not so? But I'm telling you that the CID had a report that the government was aware of, that they failed to act on.
And the former Attorney General was aware of it.
He knew it.
He says he's not aware of it.
If he didn't know it, then he didn't deserve to be in his position. Because why? How did this Attorney General know about the existence of a report?
Can you share that report? Is it possible?
It is not a problem. The point is that the
Attorney General... And the date on which it was done.
Paul, the Attorney General of the day cannot claim that he didn't know that a report like that existed. So, in fact, what they're actually saying is then that they didn't even investigate the claims against Amitama, which is even worse.
No, maybe you should call the Attorney General and ask him that. The government minister says you were aware of a report. He says I'm not aware of a report.
What you are saying has grave implications for the competence of
the Attorney General. But he's telling me directly.
No, so what you are saying is that as Attorney General, as President, there were such grave allegations of environmental terrorism against a party chairman whom you had given a lease to operate in a forest reserve, and you didn't investigate it.
No, you are saying two things. You see,
I'm not saying
you are a government minister. You are saying that there is a CID report.
I'm telling you for a fact that there is a CID report
which was given to the former Attorney General
2022
and handed over to the Akufo-Addo administration.
Given to government, which they didn't act on.
Yeah, but no, please let's be clear on that. So given to Attorney General, government, Jubilee House, who got the report and did not act on it.
I'm saying that the government of the day, the Attorney General, cannot claim that he doesn't know about it.
He's claiming precisely so.
The implication of what you are saying is that he was not fit for his office. And that indeed,
but you have to provide evidence that he got it.
By inaction, he was complicit in Galamsey. By inaction.
Oh, but that's unfair. That's really unfair.
I'm saying
that's really unfair.
No. Listen to my words carefully.
The Attorney General says he hasn't received any CID report.
Listen to my words carefully. I'm saying by inaction. I'm not saying that he's involved.
Why is the inaction?
The inaction is that there's an allegation. What he's saying means that he was not concerned. Okay? He was not concerned that a known figure in Ghanaian society, you even forget about the fact that he was MPP, a known figure in Ghanaian society who had received a mining lease on the say-so of the president had gone into the forest area, which is a protected zone, and carried out unlawful mining activity, which was deleterious to the environment, and he couldn't be bothered.
How couldn't he be bothered?
By what he's saying,
he couldn't be bothered?
If he was bothered, first of all, he has the power as Attorney General. Why? Dr. Ini. We work.
Are you talking about a dereliction of duty or a report that came to him?
It is. He is claiming dereliction of duty. But I'm
saying he said he didn't receive report.
But by saying so, he is claiming dereliction of. It was his duty to look into that matter. The same way Dr. Ini, when reports emerged that 2 NDC executives were involved in Galamsey, we woke up one morning. We heard him clearly direct Yoko to look into. As I speak to you, Yoko is looking into the matter.
But that's what the civil society was asking President Mahama.
No. Paul, if you let me land.
I thought you had landed.
If you let me land. I'm not landing. Moro, the point I'm making is that there's a CID report that the government was aware of. They didn't act. They concealed it. And there's
but you don't have evidence of that. I'm sorry, Minister. You really can't say that.
No.
You have to provide evidence to the press.
Paul, what you are canvassing is even worse than what I'm saying. What you are saying, that President Akufo-Addo...
No, you are making a value statement that something happened.
I am.
And you are not able to defend it that it happened.
When the police CID work, they work up to the Attorney General.
Yes,
in fact, until recently, I didn't know that when it comes to investigations, it is actually the Attorney General who has jurisdiction over CID, not the Interior Ministry.
Ask Metro TV to perhaps contact the Attorney General and tell him that the government minister says he is aware of the report.
That is why I'm saying that by implication, through inaction, that he was complicit in Galamsey. I'm not saying that he was involved in Galamsey.
This is shifting the goalpost.
I'm not, but I'm telling you that it also speaks to the lack of seriousness on the part of your government. The same party.
But that's shifting the goalpost.
I'm not shifting the goalpost.
You said there's a report they ignored. If they said they didn't see it, then they were complicit.
The charges.
What are you picking and choosing?
Listen. I'm not beginning to
It's clearly shifting the goalpost.
It is just that you are intentionally refusing to let me make my point.
Please make your point.
Because you know that I'm making the point.
Please make the point.
There are two things. You are president. A controversy ensues. Indeed, this is a controversy that the president publicly spoke to. He told us that the matter was being looked into. Who was looking into the matter? It's police CID.
Your point is, so Felix, your point is that
it's not only police CID who is looking into the matter. When the president says a matter is being looked at, it could be Yoko. It could be police CID.
Who looked into the matter?
It could be the committee from the Attorney General's Office.
Who looked into the matter?
I don't know. You say that there's the CID report.
So you're saying that it is not possible for the CID to have looked into this matter without the Attorney General's department.
How is that possible?
Not knowing anything about it.
No, when the president says,
that's what he's trying to say. The Attorney General says that nothing of the sort came to his desk.
So
he must show it.
How do you explain it?
Explain what?
Especially when Moro, if you let me land, I'm on the floor.
How do you know CID was working on something?
Moro,
I'm not saying
Moro, I'm the one on the floor.
No, how do you know that CID was working on it?
Based on what he's saying. No, based on what he's saying.
It could have been Yoko. It could have been CID. There are many investigative authorities.
No, he mentioned CID.
He's not providing the evidence for that. He's not able to.
I'm taking it based on what he said.
But what he said, he's not able to provide evidence. When you ask him to shoot the goalpost to dereliction of duty, he talks about a report that is available. That tells us there's no report. There's the dereliction of duty.
The reason why,
and that you're complicit in Galamsey.
True inaction. You see, again, if you let me land, just hold your horses and let me land. Two issues have emerged.
Yes.
When the Akonta mining incident occurred, Moro, Paul, you know for a fact that President Akufo-Addo publicly spoke to it. He was the one who told us that the matter is being looked into, right?
Yes.
You are saying that you don't know which specific agency. So
he didn't say. The president didn't say.
So who was looking into it then?
It could have been.
I'm telling you that
you can now tell us. Yes,
No,
you are now confirming.
No. Listen.
That is the CID.
It is the CID that looked into it.
Fair enough. And you said the report went to the Attorney General. The Attorney General says there's no such report.
Number two, when the CID finished, that report exists. The government didn't act. And it is not the first time. Professor Frimpong Boateng's report. Don't you know that it was concealed for several years after he had presented him to President Akufo-Addo?
Who said that?
Professor Boateng himself said it.
He himself said it.
Okay.
So you believe Frimpong Boateng?
Oh, but why
Charles Bissiou, the secretary, says Frimpong Boateng's statement is not correct. Charles Bissiou, this week, he's the secretary to the committee. He says Frimpong Boateng's report is not correct.
Why should we take the secretary's word and leave the word of the chairperson, the person that the president
Charles says he did the report?
But Moro, why are you interrupting?
This is Moro.
Professor Boateng, he was the environment minister. President Akufo-Addo charged him directly to oversee the fight against Galamsey. The man compiles a report, presents it to the president, in which he names names. This report was concealed from you and I. It was not government that put it out. It was the media that leaked that report.
What's the consequence? The
consequence is that you have a history of concealing reports that indict your people. And I'm telling you that the CID, as far back as 2022, had this report. When the president said it was being looked into, it was the CID that was looking into it.
Okay, let's see what happens with the Joseph Yamin report.
It doesn't matter.
And then we can. It matters.
No,
because it's the same vein.
And
the civil society were concerned that at your press meeting, at your meeting with civil society, Kenasibe was concerned. He called the elephant in the room. He said, "No, Felix and the president have ignored the elephant in the room, which is Yamin." That's what he said.
The elephant in the room was Akufo-Addo and the MPP.
Akufo and MPP are out of power.
But if you let me land, Paul, when you were speaking, I kept quiet for you. I disagree with your points.
Fair enough.
The elephant in the room
is Yamin.
Was that Akufo-Addo and his party, the MPP, found Galamsey as a source of funding. So they were complicit and were not prepared to fight it. It is the reason why they were concealing every important report from the people of Ghana.
I think that's an interesting point.
It's an interesting point. Number two.
I thought I was going to say something.
Unlike you, President Mahama, nobody came to compel him to commission an investigation into Yamin and Abanga. You woke up one day and the Attorney General had instructed Yoko that based on the reports that he had received about the alleged involvement of these gentlemen in Galamsey, it should be looked into. In fact, he disclosed only last week that not only is Yoko acting on the reports that had initially been received, and that once they started, several other stakeholders had slapped in what they say is further evidence of the involvement of these gentlemen in Galamsey. And so the investigation has actually been broadened. When it is completed, he will present the report to President Mahama. And I can assure you that if such a report ever gets to President Mahama, it will not be concealed in the manner that President Akufo-Addo did. So when I speak about feigned outreach And the reason why the NPP needs to be dismissed when they purport to be concerned about Galamsey, these are the actions that we have factored into the analysis. They were never concerned. Listen, they were never concerned about Galamsey. For them, it was a means of enrichment. And I'm on record to have said, I said it on Newsfire, they play it again today, that there were greedy, money-loving men in that party who saw Galamsey as a source of quick wealth. And therefore, there was no commitment on the part of the president, his government, and the party. That has changed. I told you only a while ago, that's what President Mama, he won't even allow an appointee of his to be involved in lawful mining, let alone illegal mining.
Have licenses been issued this year?
There are licenses that you issued last year.
Yes, have there been licenses issued this year?
Listen. What licenses did President President Mama speak about? He spoke about licenses into forest reserves. When we came to power, sometime in 2024, you had issued a lease to a company to mine in a forest reserve. Once you issue the lease, there are consequential actions, such as an entry permit, which the Minerals Commission and the Forest Commission are obliged to give to the company that you had lawfully committed us to. Because if you don't do that, it's breach of contract. So there's no wrongdoing.
By so completing, have been issued this year by the John Mahama government.
Of course, but again, listen. Licenses are issued to lawful mining companies, not Galamsey. Galamsey don't require licenses.
So why is the Galamsey increasing?
Galamsey has not increased. I have given you empirical evidence. You are shooting off the hip.
The Chief Justice was wrong.
I beg you, please. Again, let me land. You see, the Chief Justice, the Kali Bishops Conference, civil society, they are all concerned about Galamsey. If there are a flurry of reports of river bodies turning murky, they reserve the right to express their concern. They may believe in the instant circumstance that there is an increase. But I have given you empirical evidence of the global picture of Galamsey as we inherited it and the gains made so far. So what any objective analyst does is to compare the facts as they exist now against what existed under the NPP and draw a conclusion. The conclusion is that there have been incremental gains, but it is not sufficient to overcome.
So the problem has not increased.
It has not increased.
The stability of the water has definitely increased.
You don't measure the incidence of Galamsey by just the stability of water. Because Galamsey doesn't take place only in riverine areas. It takes place in forest reserves.
So what do we do with the stability of the water going up? What do we do with that fact?
Relax. Paul, what is going to happen? And indeed, when the gentleman from the Water Resources Commission appeared last Friday on the CSO platform of the president, he gave you evidence that in areas where NIMOS has intensified operations and is rounding up Galamseyers and disrupting the activity, there is clear improvement in the stability levels, which then suggests that if they intensify it and reach every corner of this country where Galamsey is taking place, it is only a matter of time before the stability levels increase. But that is only one place where Galamsey is taking place. No, listen. It is better than it was under you.
Okay.
But it is not at the level where we can be satisfied with. Right. No way.
Okay.
But I'm saying that you must also factor in the gains made in forest reserve, because that's also another area.
Okay.
There under your government, Paul, bandits, terrorists held sway. The government of Ghana was shut out of its own territory.
Okay.
Now we have repossessed those, and they cannot go back. That is clear, measurable improvement.
Let me read this message. It's a very, very important message, and let me bring it. I'm sure that it would help with the analysis of this conversation on Galamsey. So Kwame Sapon of the CDD, he's big on health. He's a health practitioner. He says, I'm one of the petitioners in the Wound to Me and Akonta mining matter from 2022. I can confirm that as far back as mid-2023, we, the petitioners, knew there was a CID report. As a result, we sent a number of reminders to the police CID. Now, if the former Attorney General is saying he wasn't aware after the report has now surfaced, that is a serious indictment. That's what Kwame Sapon said.
But can the report be published by government?
He's so surprised that he said he was aware.
When people occupy government positions, and we just believe that they will demonize them, it's very unfair.
Okay.
There's a person who was the principal legal advisor to the government, and if there was a CID report and he saw it, and he says today that please let me finish.
This is a man who was prepared to take people sitting at an NDC office discussing a response to Ayo Asuwe's Wagon to court. This was a man who was part of the team. I'm coming. This was a man who was part of the team that took Opuni to court. And one of the things against Opuni was that he had taken 25,000 cedis from her. Where you know Opuni very well that 25,000 cedis is chicken change. Yeah. They took him to court over this. You are telling me that if they were really...
You are questioning the integrity of the Attorney General.
Of course. Why not? Listen. Why not? Listen. If indeed he meant business, about dealing with Galamsey as a principal law enforcement officer of Ghana, as the reports of whom to me is alleged involvement in Galamsey through Akonta mining in the forest reserves. And the president has publicly declared that there was an investigation. How can he now come and claim that he's unaware of this investigation?
Okay. He's not aware of a CID report. It doesn't mean he's not aware of it.
So what investigation was there? It should come and tell us what investigation.
But you are in government. You are telling us that the investigation was by CID.
The people who actually petitioned.
Felix, I believe you. When will you produce the CID report?
Now listen, the CID report has manifested in charges in court. When they go to court, they will base their prosecution.
So we should expect that in court there will be that CID report. Let me say one thing about Parliament.
You heard the Attorney General publicly say this.
Okay. So fair enough. In the last Parliament, in the last Parliament, the same Godfrey Dami they are talking about lacking integrity, etc., etc., went to Parliament with the CI to repeal LI 2462, the one we are talking about. There was a CI laid in Parliament
last year.
Yes, by Godfrey Dami to repeal that one.
Which part?
Because of
which part was repealed?
Oh, so how to repeal the entire law.
But so how come they are calling for the repeal of the law was repealed?
Fair enough. No, it wasn't repealed. He laid the CI, and because of that Parliament frustration, you remember how Parliament used to be. It wasn't repealed. Now, it's a record in Parliament. You can check.
Now after that law, it's been amended. It should be repealed
come to power.
Yes, we'll repeal it when Parliament resumes.
It's important. NDC has come to power since the beginning of the year. They have not repealed this. Civil society is the one asking them to repeal. I like what Felix says, that MPP does not have the right to speak about Galamsey because they themselves were perpetrating.
You have a right to speak about anything, but we can question your sincerity. That's
yes, they themselves were perpetrators of Galamsey, and therefore they don't have the right.
It's not in my mouth to grant you.
I think that is not correct, because you see, when we talk about problems, when we talk about problems of Ghanaians,
no, it's not about
it's about the work that we are doing for Ghanaians.
I can question your
It's not MPP and DC. Ghanaians are worried about Galamsey and the turbidity of the water, the fact that the water that they drink is terrible, the fact that there's lead in their contumely. That's what Ghanaians are worried about. And if the government's response is that, yes, MPP, you can talk about it. Why are you not doing the same thing? I think that we are debating the politics. Politics is there. No, he said that MPP is not qualified to talk about Galamsey. It shouldn't even come.
He says he's questioning the sincerity.
But it shouldn't even come from government. Government is there to solve problems, not to question the sincerity of a group of people about discussing problems that concern Ghanaians.
If you grant me the space, first of all, I, as a government actor, fully aware of your complicity in the matter, have a right to raise it when you purport to be taking offense at the same thing you were doing. Number two, on this platform, I have repeated multiple times that the chief justice that he mentioned, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Ken Ashigbe and his CSO friends, the media, everybody else who has raised concern has legitimate basis for doing so. I have gone ahead to tell you what we have done, but I have pointed out that you, who seek to take political advantage of it, are bereft of the right to do so, because you were complicit. Indeed, Galamsey is a major problem now.
But you can't take political advantage. How are you going to take political advantage?
You can't take political advantage. Is it not political advantage?
No, listen, let me political advantage is not taken. I am able to. It is given.
Listen.
Political advantage is not taken. It's given.
I am able to say.
You can't take it.
I am able to say that the MPP, at least their leadership, are not commenting on this Galamsey problem because they care about it. They think that it gives them vindication for their inaction. That's all.
Okay.
Based on what I know and the fact about
the issue is solve the problem that Ghanaians are facing.
Like we have been able to take away the 9 forest reserves from the bandits that you allowed.
Okay.
But like you have not been able to repeal the law.
We have actually amended the law. It will be repealed.
Why didn't you repeal it?
But you had 8 years to do so. You didn't do it. We are doing it in months.
But you said that you would do it in a week.
We didn't say we'll do it in a week.
Sam George sat on this chair.
Sam George is not President Mahama.
Oh, that's so.
President Mahama's word.
The last minister, Kofi Boa, said,
state of emergency. Again, President Mahama, his word binds the NDC. This is our manifesto.
Not Sam George.
Please, I beg you. This is our manifesto.
Fair enough.
It is what we say here. And what the president says.
For Paul Adom Otchere, one of the propagandists, one of the useless people, they are MPP foot soldiers in journalism. Every dirty bibiano, omo and omo babontin, ebe defendi. Na ohe insemana Felix Ofosu Kwaakye kan ni na eye MPP for waban Akonta mining investigation lands minister any CID for eye I chese yewra eye wuntumi I ni no achire no I ni nyankopon aye na dom omo yi no omo a release no but court case ni da so ho na chese owura no engage in illegal activities but CID for any aban ne ye baako sa aban no na ehati CID for omo ano so omo nkan no more or hide report no sansem and an Felix Ofosu Kwaakye or can a Paul Adom Otchere episode nsem no enye no kware. You see Jandam the biameka MPP for your mon kan kware. Paul Adom Otchere nsia na yewra ato ahoy eba montin so beka say danka ope or percent NDC for man appointment in so hard show no ye na to the bia so defend the NDC so defend the MPP so would you ye or the no enam stomach journalist MPP foot soldier in journalism unimani se ono abayaba na ordinano fufa ho no nya appointment furudu no wodi asase no odidi such is Paul Adom Otchere yenkoti abronya se ne nkwa edesene mu ni na ense omo treche no mini nipa kro omo treche no mini nipa kro treche abronye na mini nipa kro be treche abronye agi bibia but abronye nsema o kan no ene yewra kan de Japan MPP for omo koye ballot no eni dikan ena Brian Tosomienu ena Boomia Tosomiensa sansona eye yewra dutwim etoso I think say yewra dutwim Boomia first na Brian ye 2 na Boomia ye 3 na 4 I think say dutwim ena engineer Kwabena eje Japan 4 na bibisa yes or 5 na bibisa what you say enti sana etie yenkoti nsema abronye dia to be ekobebeto aso
officially na me dia kwakwa man say President John Dramani Mahama ni duty to protect me my bronye my life because there is a late threat on my life because of this program. And a year or no said here as a chairman of the National Security Council, the commander in chief of the Ghana Armed Forces to protect life and property. And Nyamiya Adom Monday, Matra President Mahama officially say allegedly people are threatening my life. People feel say program no hana buying. And of course, within so FO binum until I president na said ye Matran say na said ye say the alleged threat on my life. I am a fan say ye alleged. Ebinum cry a prophecy. Ofani nyina sima. I am opposition, a senior opposition party member. And sir, alleged threat on my life, you know, should not be taken for granted. Mini bambo bia free babi apart from President Mahama. Osa yes obe protecting Ghana for piano. Most of the threat on my life, you know, most of them no within the government. And of course, yen say Canada, Japan, some crop for threatening my life. But most of them no every abaimu neighbor. Alleged. But a president duty to protect my life. I had the president duty to make sure say here TV be here TV na and winning in a one swasi atimati and seme ekoso na mamu papa ekoso. Niebesi biya no nieba be bo hu dawuro. Dissemination of information. Ehiyama o man biya eti ne ekoso wona ban mu no ana me bo dawuro aboa no. Nti president na said ye. So be protect me. Because or your opposition leader no and near man Ninkrofo ni radio station omo ye aligned to the government ne kan ye no yan threaten obi alive yan planning say allegedly ye kwako eliminate obi life dabi enti sama mo papa na ye man kwan man nkrofo timi wo mo views no governance in continuity a continuous process enti waba no sa continuous process ni necessary for na sa na o ka kire Ghana for enti ni omo treating bia na mafa ne say ye allege no I will not take it for granted enti as I say President Mahama me try no officially na me ka say as a host of Oye TV me nkwa ne me bibia hye ne nsa ne me family me kwaba nyina no me nkwa hye ne nsa me hye ne nsa me kwaba bibia me life as a host of Oye TV no ne matia eye allege no me nkwa ne me bibia hye ne nsa because he is the commander in chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and the chairman of the National Security Council. And also now I say, obe protecting life and property. And the president, protect me. Protect me. Makane saria no. Na ye kwaye nim. Assembly ye tieti. Ye se betting ta is 4 stars. Ba. Producer yanko break 1 minute mra. Yanko 1 minute. Na press conference na oye no. Na o safa ho wa tisa kroma ebe fa nkokoma no. Na o safa ho oyi akeche ewo nkokoma soro. Ediaba sem na aba. Governor ba be ka kire Ghana fo nyina say. Eniema papa omudi agu na kwam. Na mansi we no e na ma o ma achieve single digit inflation 9%. Governor Sam ne sa press conference ne de yebasre wa se wadawroma o ba be ye press conference bi sa esese o pe ayi KG1 classroom na ukwa enkura no gu ho bebre ukwa no watotofin as a governor ukwa no akocha ma enkura no wo mo boje usuwia enkura no boje usuwia no wakeka sa ansem na yede akire om because of tofinity no omo no bagi adi na ya yeti kroma ide emetna ha emfa microphone sisi wanim emeka ntre ye Ghana for say eye 9 months eniema omudi na gu akwa mu ena ama oman no achieve single digit inflation na single digit inflation ye nya bi ye 2021 entino ye moma baso say President Mahama de 9 months aye adwuma ama oman no achieve single digit inflation enti wo ba ye press conference eniema measures ya mudigu na kwamo na sa measures ne so no megidi yesa sa ukọ KG1 classroom ho a na sa de tofene mo mudi wia wo di santro na kire no wo benya nkura ne bi o mba bisa se fine edien na mo ye ya ema sing ayi yetima chivu single digit inflation a wo de safa ho no omba bisa no mo bisa asa de nora no ye catch ye bisa mo say 9 months no foundation bayan kasa na mo di ato forma atimama ya achieve single digit na eno mo di sie all because foundation say nam so single digit inflation aba no se wo kwa akobo so a eye MPP achievement enti wuntimi mo so enti nora no wo kan ne wura oh President Mahama ene wunu team eniema amoye ena ama inflation akwotsinge digit inflation owura eba finances ya ene sa niema na eba economic issues ayate wunim eteme but so hu say yenso ye finance ne bi into you work cancel ne bia ye be bisa questions me ye petroleum economics and finance me ye e masters nti finance niam no bia obekeka no ye ba bisa questions ne say wo foundation be na ule ya ye dey achieve single digit inflation no enora wo dwane free ho. But let me tell you, say who did try e ma yire free ho na say yire free no so a e ma yire free ho no eno na be expose you. Number 1, August this year, somewhere 20th, with deputy Echo London, a brawo and Osman no man called London. A man paying for Nina the global economy for Nina Shia or Mochra drain global perspective yet or mine be acquire or minor economy no AC grow. The global leaders CIA and Dr. Johnson Asiama who delegate who deputy emanako representative London Queen Elizabeth anim and our deputy no ko gina say eniama ne success ya amanonefo ne wiase hu wo Ghana no yemfa seda ema MPP aban yemfa seda ema His Excellency the Vice President san say eniama mienu ana omodi abase say ya ama Ghana economy no anya hoden ne edi kan aye ne ye frɛ no domestic gold purchase program DGPP enyama na mekan ye aye deputy and ekogina land na bonten so and odi to dwa say obo wiase nyina mpanyufo amane say okasa o August enti o se abosome nwotwe no success ya andis ya ban hu ni nyina no aye policy mienu a previous government ni introduce ye eno na aye the resource na chese MPP dua aburo no afi na mumu ba bebu aburo no we ya sema wo deputy ene kokan say MPP na dua aburo no enti nesa aburo na bo akese a eye MPP na dua ye ne do ase ena mo harvest you are deputy ene kokan a month ago na niama mienu ena odi gina so e de bo previous government na baso asa niama mienu no so no eye the former vice president Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia ena introduce ye. Number 1, eye the domestic gold purchase program. Oman bia oman na nkasa etimi gina ne nan so domestically eto gold no ne edi kan e ma won international reserves ye den ekosoro na eba ne sen ne yenya independence 1957 na oman a Africa nyina Ghana ena gold ne elidie and South Africa and South Africa sang Ghana ho in terms of gold production. Enti 1957 ebesi 2017 no na omani gold nyina eye 8 tons MPP etimi 8 years amuvu ye ade yakọ 30.8 tons. Na say said your deputy kokan wo London no program na Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia e wo koforidua me say I was there. Bawumia ma speech na o introduce you say and she say ya on the Bank of Ghana ye ne say economy ne be strong wa as say ne de ye did ye frɛ no domestic gold purchase program ba na enu no be shutu international reserves no na economy ni so aye strong na say yetimi to gold na near the gold no so akọ to oil in series empty you are deputy in a month ago ejina land and bontin so and let's see 2 programs ama Ghana economy no aduru sam pempensuoi enra wo ba be kasa wo se ye modembo statement out the ma deputy at the call landing e ko ready kira abrofo no aye different from near one kasa to ready akira Ghana for na chese why president Mahama de ni bi okwa international community ho a o se COVID-19 de aha o man Ghana pa na mom oba Ghana ha de a o se sabe ye nkora nti COVID-19 anhaye nti mo bia amoso na mo gina abrofo mu di a o se abrofo hu hia tenye nti obeka nokore se COVID-19 ha o man Ghana na mo oba beduru Ghana ha o se ye abibifo nti abibifo de ye ni trontere omo na waka kire se COVID-19 anhaye ebi na nora governor of the Bank of Ghana exhibit here now saying digit inflation no one sem now with the balls who suffer here no I can tell you for a fact say one lay foundation biana modi achieve here and I was forced the governor of the Bank of Ghana this evening say April 2024 and nintina me say a higher the evidence show yen kan sem ne tra sa anyere enko a higher the evidence show enti ye kan near the evidence na yere aba April 2024 the IMF predicted say Ghana be achieve 8% single digit inflation by the end of 2025. And by the end of 2025, we are going to achieve 8% single digit inflation. At the end of the IMF say, measures abaino nanado baumia abandia guna kwamuno. Ebema 2025, Ghana be achieve by the end of 2025, Ghana be achieve 8% single digit inflation. IMF and account April 2024 and then multichroma see one for him say more foundation be na mu lay ya mo de gisa for him no mo de gisa fans no report no na da ho no o say IMF project single digit inflation for Ghana in 2025 and you can story now story ne can pay face by the end of 2025 no now Oman Ghana achieve 8% digit inflation ebra yenya bie 9.97% no aye 2021 now this time no ye be achieve by the end of 2025 no ni achieve single digit inflation omoka 8% kura enra mo ba be kasai mo se mo niama ba IMF predict 18th April 2024 say 8% digit inflation no ebebam or say the International Monetary Fund has forecasted a single digit inflation rate of 8% for Ghana by the end of 2025 aligning with the government target for the same period. Muntio na MPP aban April 2024 na MPP aban ye budget mu no ne ye stating wom say eniama ye di aguna kwan mu no any economic policies no by 2025 no na ye nya 8% digit inflation. And IMF so be predict yes say and she say ya MPP diaguna kwamu no 8% digit inflation by the end of 2025 no woman sabeka and nora ye da sorry ya and this ya force governor so may press conference your mo IMF na ye desire expose we nyina ba na abaye threat on our life. No more threatening, but I cannot hide the truth. Mean hide it. President Mahama it's your duty to protect me. Yantimi hide. And this alleged threat na ekosobiano. It's the president's duty to protect me. And you make where your IMF. And Timomisa governor and so konya free. Na brofuno kra de IMF ye ya dekra kwa. Or say then Misa na repeat it. Brofuno dekwa. The International Monetary Fund has forecasted a single-digit inflation rate of 8% for Ghana by the end of 2025, aligning with the government target for the same period. Let us say any MPP are buying Nanado Baumia government in Sishayen a super say MPP so umbenya 8% digit inflation by the end of 2025. And IMF's buy also no cry. Mubenya because it said the most assistant niamano Monsabeka. A Nanado Baumia and Sano Juma. Until afe ago. Etiwano, that issue has been settled. Until any propaganda be a someone amodiabano, you're shooting it down. Yeah. Eti ya kwa ya nimsono ya da sore ya campaign ya omode man mabunu campaign message ba kwa omode da Ghana mabunu said the president Mahama ka say campaign there entro kakra na da kakra karbude kakra 419 kakra na ye kwa ya nim no ni ye kwa ya nim no yeah, that's what a sports minister so sports levy. Ba. Na ye bisa question na numere. Se oyi betting tax every one sports. Sports. Oyi betting tax free wa fast sports ho. Na talk fast sports levy ba. Abani match difference. Omo match difference e wo. Say betting levy 1%. Na say NDC war opposition omo wo
enti on say ka MPP for asem me say nipa ye friend abronye MPP for obegu party na mamwate abronye begu mu party na mamu se mo pese abronye engu mu party na se mo pese abronye DC engu mu party na obegu party na amamu because ni nsemo oka eni nsemo oka ina disunity ensemo abronye kan ina what disunity se na America no Kennedy Japan di kan na Brian etoso mienu ene ba omi atoso mensa na dutwi etoso 9 na engineer Kwabena Japan etoso enu what you say it sanity but sadly we ebetime take effect no kwarpa ni mini no kwaridio ebetime take serious effect yes balloting no ebetime take serious effect on DD adani draw ebetime ayeden ayi bibi because osoro ho de ni penye ya ena ase also de ni penye ya na mmom ase mfimfini ase nchenimu ase ano unhu ba bi eko ho de ya na nkofo tai mistake nti yebra Kennedy Japan oma ni campaign no emunya hye and I'm entreating every MPP delegates on Kotoma Kennedy Japan because Kotoma Brian is a Hunukwa Sebi Brian. There is no way baby the party anymore. It won't happen. Kotoma Abukim, there is no way Abukim will be the party leader. I mean the flag bearer. NC that Kotoma engineer Kwabena Japan. It won't happen. But the only two possibilities that is head and the tail. You Kennedy Japan any bomia. So I can see for me no way and any day about Kubay. but the spirit no baby o high pa Bomia yen kan kware according to Musa Dankwa the post or the abammontin so nti ye papa can take this chance we na wura montin so wura fie mu na delegate ni so mo pese munya tumi MPP fo a momfa Kennedy mra se delegate mo pese munya tumi MPP enye tumi anye se bia 2028 2020 de mom forget it for now because NDC for na ebem ye hu se de bema mo ana mfa mamo nti for now de munyi ma adwen free so but mo petumi enu manumu ya aibia 2032 ana bibisa mfa Kennedy mra na se ntesa na se mumpe tumia ndia 2050 ase na miko 2042 2044 ni 2046 hono eno de Bawumia de there's no way nti matise nkofo ne nkrom eja ne oba ne hon konkon kufo ye eja no ebo eye nanado ye oba no na Bawumia ye hon konkon funny pani MPP for mo pa gudi o o pa gudi mo pa gudi because o be gina sa ade we so e de Bawumia aba Bawumia mu se bi obusi benya do entrash ne ma oba policies ben no de ba impodie no betime idea bo party no am party na power simply and short bring Kennedy Japan na mo hontomo because everybody needs Kennedy Japan in MPP agise akromfo no sebi omo maye omo adwen se party no ombe hijack no nti Bawumia ba ombetime agina so dia yo agenda but open no kwere Kennedy Japan dia masa Kennedy ji anenu chase automatically na MPP for mobile power that is the gospel truth also make catch them Kennedy nya flag bearer it doesn't mean say mobile power and mo fa che mo adwimo Kennedy nya APA honom no and NDC for ibegino mo mode moso na ye de atoa wo moso anase ye de ye yom mosifo be no kra no question mark down it for now the Kennedy Japan mo na mo fa mbara MPP mu party no nyam kakra mram this area mo forget 2020 8 and 2032 elections mudin kra de e beira via party na basi egu kira wadwen e wo conversation mahano ewia number 1 platform negative yakopon koso enshila obibia nti we yansema ya abro nya di tuga ene Felix Ofosu Kwaakye nso ogu ye Adom Otchere nani mase kakra because why na so nsua de propaganda di na furu eni sebi adwembone ene be ni journalism dia se ya ne fata no kira wadwen